Left-hand one's in trouble, Brad.
We've caught Lin Zung! Behind that screen, can your highness hear? Close the doors above the emperor! An emperor shut in like some child? Who rules China, you or him? Do you? Cao Zhou lies, kills and steals, then blames you for his injustice. Liang Xiangpu is only protecting China!
Greetings to you, and these are some legal advice for you that may help if you do it carefully. First, you have to know who you are in the midst of gangs for mind control. I mean, you have to make a completely decisive decision to put it back in. First, I will tell you who you are, that you are nothing but a scapegoat for a gang leader or a front to him, or just a body that he enters into so that it becomes as if it is you and you do not know anything. He will fully exploit your name and your body and let his gang through your body so that in front of the people you will become the leader of this gang, and whoever registers elements for it and who gives orders and who chooses leaders for them, and also you are the one who punishes those who violate, and all this is going on and you also do not know anything, and you may think something completely different from this example. You think that God gave you something similar to respect for others or some importance, but it will certainly be very far from the truth. That I told you is that there are terrorist gangs that have made themselves as an organization it is sacred in Iraq. As for its leader, he is a terrorist and an intelligence officer from the days of the previous regime. He made himself a prophet or the voice of God and started playing his game. It is the Holy Spirit or the voice of God that enters into someone's body, while it is the spirit of a terrorist demon. About it, and this organization works with laws different from any laws that you know, and perhaps some of you have experience in the laws of organizations or even state departments or others, and they will know that the laws of this terrorist organization do not have any party or organization board with the same illegal laws, all of which are fraud and gang laws. Also, there is a hidden person who will plant segments of mind control over you without knowing and make himself your agent, guard or secretary, and according to the lie, he is working to implement.
Kill for you?
I love you.
Don't you want to become a cult leader? Since the death of God, there's been a vacancy open. You could fill that void. Here's how. Structure your cult like an onion, with the most benign and helpful features on the outside and the most controlling, kooky, and evil parts at the secret inner core. Use deception. Don't tell them who you really are. Lie. Leave out important information or distort information.
Are you trying to recruit me?
No. I'm just trying to share something meaningful with you.
Establish front groups.
We're a Bible study group.
We're a management course. We're a meditation center.
We're a world peace organization. We're a personal development center.
We're a drug rehab center.
Promise to fulfill their dreams.
Don't you?
That they have committed crimes against the group. Start investigating them and make up crimes.
I think I want to leave.
You must be insane.
Make them feel guilty.
We're doing important work here.
You expect saving the world is easy?
We're all called upon to make some sacrifices for the cause.
Just when things get tough, you want to give up.
You're weak.
Do you want to move forward toward freedom and enlightenment? Or do you want to fall back into your old dirty ways?
What's more important, our mission,
Our family?
Eternal salvation?
Or your petty grievances?
You're being negative,
Ignorant
selfish.
And sinful.
our leader is flawless.
The doctrine is flawless.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is. Indoctrinate with fear. Tell them that they could be possessed by evil spirits, or suggest that if they should ever leave, something bad could happen to them.
I'm just warning you that without us, you're like...
One at orders from you and also registers a group that he leads, not you, and plays the role that he is just a secretary for you who takes orders from you and distributes them to the members of this group. Of course, this group may be your family, friends or people you know. This dirty spy made them gang members. This is the first stage. of the game, which, unfortunately, many do not know about it, and the reason is that there are no problems against the victim herself. But when does the victim begin to uncover this trap? Unfortunately also that in the second stage, which is the phase of getting rid of the victim, I mean at this stage the gang begins to destroy the victim with weapons for mind control and every types of harm in order to be completely eliminated. Most of the victims notice that the attacks focus on waves of mind control, also completely dropping the victim's hearing, and the goal of this is that the gang wants to give a justification for it in order to play a game that the Holy Spirit left the victim's body because the health has become a bad person after it was good. This is the real reason that the victims do not know. I mean, they want to take her position, about which she does not know anything, and she has no authority over it. No matter how much she tries, or even if she knows about it, it will not be her. Absolutely, though the gang lies and says that the victim is the leader in order to hide their true leader, who will remain far from any danger, and all responsibility rests on the victim's head only. Of course, most of the victims do not know anything about this position, which is something unusual. This gang, for example, inside Iraq has extraordinary money, property and influence, massive sums of influence everywhere inside Iraq, also gangs and branches, almost everything that they have taken control of everything, whether governmental or non-governmental, meaning, for example, we find electricity in its hand, and the generator of electricity is also the materials of the ration card. 3. And the internet and communication networks. But with everything and all this, according to the lie, is the possession of the test victim, who is not only a donkey or a body that does not have anything. Of course, this explains that the attack on the victim is something unusual, meaning a gang that uses enormous potential against only one poor person. Something very strange. I mean, do you know that the cost of mind control waves that are directed towards the victim is large sums of money, while the victim does not have anything? But the game is the mother of this gang, trying to impose their lie only, so they give justifications that have no credibility. For example, they say that the victim is a person of him, a position and everything, and whoever attacks him is someone who is competing with him, or they say that he tests him, etc. of dirty lies here. And after you know the reason, we come to legal advice first. The victim must announce herself and know others about her and what she does, and announce everything she owns. I mean, if she has one house, announces this, or she has a job somewhere, also announces it, also knows her full name, also remember her marital status, also announces whether she works in the government or security or politics, or is she a tribal leader, and if she has followers, or does she own or work in any organization, etc. of her own details that she would like to announce, because the gang forged many qualities about her and she does not know anything about this too. Look, this contributes to the failure of this devil who entered into the victim's body and made himself, for while he is different from her and has a completely different job from her and has a position, money and subordination, which is not at all. I mean, this contradiction between the victim and those who exploit her body and name will contribute to legal harm and also the legitimacy of something else whose lie will reveal that the soul entered the victim's body, meaning, for example, this.
But the cosmos itself, nature itself, suddenly has discovered that you are the chosen one, and it's chasing you to touch the slip of your garment because you are the one. The irony is, of course, that as I speak this sentence, tens of thousands of people worldwide are insane, and they all feel that they are the chosen one. So something is not right there. Anyway, the thing is, you never really discover what you are chosen to do, because it's like dreaming, but on steroids. You're chosen to do a bazillion things. You get a million revelations, as weird as John's in the Bible. And this information floods your brain until you short circuit, you talk nonsense, and you wet yourself.
If you want to open up, it's worthwhile just making sure that you're knowledgeable about the topic, you know the ins and outs of the topic, and you don't need to open up to everybody all at the same time. Only when you're ready, only when you have a feel of what's going on, and you're definitely aware that people are not going to believe you, or people might deliberately not want to listen to you because they might already know what's happening, and they might actually be playing dumb. And whenever you're opening up to a person, whether it's a church member or a friend or a colleague, you've always got to be sure of your motive as to what it is you're trying to achieve. Remember that the perpetrators almost know everything. They almost know all your actions or all your steps ahead of you. So if you're going to try and run to that person, chances are that they might have already reached that person. They might have already sort of twisted or gotten that person to be against you. So, it's all, you don't have to believe everything. Even if the person appears to be sympathetic and be on your side, it might actually be an enemy instead of an ally. And it's all about survival. It's all about trying to keep the good spirit going, trying to keep everything that makes you happy going as much as you possibly can, because these guys 24 hours a day, they don't stop. They're always on the attack. You don't need to stop watching TV. They have a list of everything that makes you happy and everything that gets you inspired, and they're out of their way to try and destroy all of those things. Also being around people, they're going to try and discourage.
Farad, this Satan was the one who used to strike the international forces in Iraq, and this reveals that he has nothing to do with the Holy Spirit at all, which he exploits only. It is also against America and the countries of Europe. He was betting on the authority of religion, for example, or making it a cover for him, for he is nothing but a terrorist who has terrorist gangs only. Also, how does the Holy Spirit work with intelligence? Of course, the second advice is to try to obtain a personal weapon, and this is also necessary inside Iraq, because this gang will not be affected, but it will take a path gangs with the victim in an attempt to impose such a game on her. They want her to bear responsibility for the actions of a gang that is not her, and she is not a member of it, even as well. Against her. For example, he makes her family against her, or makes the people she know against her, and all this is a game of pressure from him to tame the victim to accept that she is a silent, obedient scapegoat or an obedient donkey as well. Everything will be cut off from her. For example, if she takes help from some people, it will also be cut off, but until someone talks to her. But even when she is used to it on the internet, perhaps, or people who call on the phone, or people who respect, etc. Of course, this is a game from this devil who made himself the voice of God, and the basis is that the victim violated God, so everyone upset her. This is a lie that only donkeys are believed, and fools are only, because all of these are followers of this devil. And all of this is in order to accept that it is a donkey or a sheep or a body in which this demon enters in order to lead a gang, and then blame it upon it after all this. The words that I repeated a lot, but I found the following. First, that there are people claiming to be victims, but they lie. For example, some of them from this gang have made themselves victims and started to spread lies and accuse parties that have nothing to do with the matter. Although I explained to everyone about this gang and how its leadership is all from Iraq only, even the intelligence method that they know is from Iraq only, and Iraq has fallen into the hands of this terrorist gang and turned into an enemy country for America and the countries of Europe, and all their friends here, or something for sure that all of its elements will work evil against these countries. This gang infiltrated it and started to harm people there, but this group is hiding itself, and it is spreading lies that the army or security forces in statewide are behind this. Of course, the method of surprise that this gang relies on is the reason. For example, people in statewide live in peace and respect the law, while it comes they have a person who claims that he works in security or is harmed by them, and this causes a state of loss of confidence, etc. Here we go back to the subject. Also, there are very stupid victims who are, even after they knew that they were nothing and they just fell into a trap, but the gang knows that they are fools. So, for example, you tell them that I hate good for them or envy them for what they are in, or they deceive them when they turn off the electric current, for example, or a generator of electricity, or they play a game of horse and carrot with them and make them run after a mirage, or make them think there another group is competing with him, so he has to face that group in a manner of laws.
想疑似症状，这个世界上除了劳控受害者以外，没有任何一个人的身体上同时具有这两个后果。具有这两个后果的人，必定是脑孔受害者。
对脑控受害者来说，要获得放射病检测的机会几乎不可能，因为中国的职业病防治法中把因接触放射性物质而引起的疾病列为职业病范畴。到了医院这一块，到放射科看病就等于看职业病，必须出示和射线有关的职业证明，而脑控受害者通常是无法出示这类证明的，所以他们也就无法获得有关放射病的检测和诊断，无法为他们的上访维权提供证据。
实际上就是在医院里造成了这样一个事实，就是看放血病就等于看职业病。你去看放血病，医生就问你这些证据，也提供这些那个职业从业史的证据。医生是这样回答的：他们是依法看病，而实际上他们是违反了宪法的。像我在07年的时候就知道要去看放血病，也到放血病科去检测、去诊断、去治疗。但是直到2013年10月29号的时候，我是第一次余韵的到医院的放血病科去看了放血病。
你就是说拿不出证据来，证据因为什么呢？有这帮人吧，都有的到医院，前些阵这不都上医院去联系好了去化验血、化验什么的。等到那儿以后，人家大夫就不给抽血了，不给化验了。
那么，几乎所有的脑控受害者都去精神病院和向心理医生咨询过，但根据精神病的诊断标准，他们都被诊断
7 at the gang, while the victim does not have anything, not an organization, a half, or a quarter. Even I also notice some of the fools or impersonal victims who rejoice when they go to a government department and find the director respects them, or they go near the police control and then they are not searched, or they find important people they respect, etc. Of course, all of this is just a game. All of them did this because it was Satan who called them and told them this, and he himself will tell them not to respect the victim later on, but the victims rejoice with this thing, thinking they have become something. But if you ask them what they are, they do not know what it is, and they think it is his gift from God, or is it a good thing? While it is the biggest epidemic and the dirtiest, they have become just a donkey. Here I have some additions to the topic, which is a simple explanation of the laws of this gang. Here I have a question for the victims of choice in Iraq, who may say that they did not register anyone at all because they do not have any organization, but this is correct and not true at the same time. It is true when the matter is a law, or in a country where there is a law, or it is correct within the laws known to us, meaning if a person has a non-governmental organization but he did not most of anyone in it except for himself only, and this is definitely within the law, does not have any elements in this organization because he has a register of member registration, and it is either a paper record or a computer or other, they does not have any names and no element or citizen has come to ask for belonging to this organization. Of course, this we know it well. But now we take the thing that we do not know, which is whether the victim of the choice knows that any restaurant he entered to eat, the gang registered him and made him members of it, also have every store and every house as well as his family's house and everyone who contacts him by phone, or every friend who goes to him and talks with him. 8 at, or he thinks about him, but even the mobile, the internet, etc. its members are now. Did you know that you were wrong here? I imagine that nothing of this, of course, all of these elements, the victim has no authority over them in any way, even though they are all registered through her actions. The excuse of terrorism in Iraq means, according to the game of this devil, that the Holy Spirit entered the victim's body and made him know the unseen. I mean, no one talks to him about anything. Of course, this game will be the key to getting rid of the victim later, because all the elements that have been recorded told her that the victim knows the unseen with this. It came to them when the reason for the victim's coming was a completely different reason and not registering or giving a position, etc. Here later the gang will say that the victim has become ill and lost the talent of the unseen. This is why the elements of these gangs will perform the victim's tests, which is, for example, hiding something and they ask you about it, or other dirty choices that are intended to get rid of only the victim who does not know anything about this. Of course, there is no benefit at all from this organization for the victim, which means being freed from it is the real benefit. Or a smile from its elements, a game of love, etc. All this is nothing in exchange for the harm that will be exposed to the victim as well as society. 9 at. Notice that dispensing with all of these is only a gain. I mean, they give you a loaf of bread in exchange for your life and harm to others, and you become a slave that they have to control you. But just a doll they have that works with the remote through waves for mind control. You know that you are a slave to them, and they make food or housing or take something from them or even talking to them, etc. as if they were justified as slave hunting gangs. And these are a problem because there is no law against them, and they are the ones who disrupt any attempt to find a law. I mean, you know that slavery did not stop until after special laws were issued that prohibit this also. These are mind control gangs playing because there is no law that punishes. A very important note that I want to make, which is that all of my words are directed inside Iraq only and cannot fit anywhere else. Iraq is under the control of this gang and it has made itself the law and a thief at the same time. Also, Iraq is not a model at all, and it will not mean I say this is because there is a game of Satan who made himself like the United Nations and made of his followers everyone representing an entity, state, religion, or class of society, and all of them led them with laws from him and their record in his hand. He and also his wife, the homosexual security agent, has authority over to all of them. This dirty game is not recognized as a lie, but rather a conspiracy and dirtiness that this devil is not a prophet but a terrorist and an intelligence officer from the days of the previous regime, and all playing against Europe and America, but even the elements countries. They are chosen by their duty only to lose in this gambling game. It is a farce, rather it has no legitimacy. It is a terrorist demon who plays with the fingers of his hand.
Get back into the truck, GR-13. The mission is canceled. GR-13. I said it's over.
My name is Sergeant Andrew Scott.
I've relieved Colonel Perry of his command.
GR-13, this mission has been canceled. I order you back to the cooling chamber. Now!
Orders? I'm giving the orders from now on. We have a mission to complete. Any questions?